Welcome back to The Winning Moments. We are happy to be here this week with my hosts, Chris Ward, Coach Ward, Kevin Devaney, the famous Kevin Devaney. We have a lot to talk about this show, jam-packed. So we're going to kick it right off. Kevin, talk to us about this week's highlights.
You say jam-packed. So the reason why it's jam-packed is because the show's building, man. The show's growing. In a way where I used to kind of text coaches early in the season and say, hey, obviously there's not a lot of games early on, but I'm trying to get information on teams and stuff. This week, I get like a couple notes back. This week, I got all the coaches I reached out to because I said, I want this show to be more than just like what I saw on Twitter and typing it and talking about it, right? It's something we've always talked about.
Absolutely.
And get into, who's playing defense, who's doing the things that aren't showing, right? So I reached out to coaches, and everyone we spoke to this week, I'm like, well, this is way too much stuff. I'm never going to be able to put this all on the show because they want player by player and stuff. So, these guys, I just want to, first off, thank those people, Dan McGann from Pleasantville and Sean Mayer from Westlake Girls. They were awesome in terms of what they gave us for kind of nuggets for the show. But it's also just kind of reinforces that we're past the midway point. Basketball's getting real, and teams are making moves. And some of the teams we're going to talk about today are making some big moves. And so everything, I always say, like, December basketball, it could be ugly. It also could be very uninformative. Like, it doesn't, like anything you see in December. The best example of that is I went to watch Bronxville go on the road. Their first game after winning the state football championship, 3 main players go to play Byram Hills. It was like men against boys. They played again last week. 54-52, Byram survives on the road at Bronxville. And it just goes to show you that, man, whatever happens in December, like, it doesn't matter. You get to January, and this stuff becomes real. Coach, you're at games this past week. Where'd you go?
I went to Clarkstown South girls, and I went to Ketchum versus Mamaroneck girls.
So you went to a couple girls' games?
I was at girls' games. Yeah. It was fantastic.
That's great.
Which, by the way, the Rye Gym, which is the first time I was
John
in that
Lynn was,
gym.
and by the way, we had a very special guest at Rye.
At Rye.
We were together.
Okay.
With his son. And we were there together when we saw the Rye Clarkstown South.
Yeah, which is great because Nathaniel is more of a lacrosse player.
Yeah.
Lacrosse and soccer are his main sports, and he plays basketball as well. But he's sitting to my right, coach is to my left, and every play, coach is telling me about the plays, and I love it, and I'm learning more and more. Then every once in a while, he'll grab Nathaniel. Hey, little Lim, did you see how that worked that way? And he looks up like, yeah, coach, I got it. Okay, great.
He wasn't paying attention, but I was trying to get his,
trying to get him,
keep him engaged.
Yeah, we're not going to get into Rye girls on this week's show. They're for players or anything like that, but they got a little scare this week. So they played Clarkstown South. They kind of controlled the game the entire way.
They did.
Right?
They really did.
Yeah.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
Carly Vos is really good.
From Clarkstown. Your first time seeing her?
As advertised, yeah. She was really good. Phoebe got in foul trouble. Chiaravelli.
Yeah, Frank Chiaravelli, yeah.
Was fantastic. She was lights out.
Might have been her best game she played all this season, I think. Her biggest number of games. Yeah.
Her touch around the rim was
fantastic. Right hand, left hand. She's not a pure post up girl. She a player. She will drop step on you facing, so it's like a face up 4.
Yeah.
And then she steps out and she can hit the open jumper from 15 to 7. She was how good was she, John?
She was good. That game, I mean, I watched her play in the county center. That game was nothing compared to how she played in the county center.
No,
and Stella Maresca.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for that young lady because she fits her game to their team.
Totally.
And that's a credit to Coach Hackett and their program. But Stella Maresca is a lot better than a lot of people think she is. And she can do stuff. She just keeps it within the team concept.
Totally.
She can shoot it. By the way, she shoots it pretty well.
And RCK was down to Mamaroneck on the road?
Yes,
they had to come back and win? Early? Okay.
So I saw that game.
Oh, then they got a big,
So here's what happened. I put down in my notes 4 semi-contested, really good looks in the lane that Mamaroneck got first 4 minutes in the game, didn't finish. I said it's going to come back to bite them. They sat on 14 from the 4-minute mark of the second quarter.
Points.
No, the girls.
Oh, yeah.
The girls. Second quarter to the 4-minute mark of the third quarter, they sat on 14. And at that point, Ketchum went on like a 17-0 run.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then Resendez tried to get him back. She made 4 threes in the second half. But Kaminsky and company were too much.
Kayla Cook. Yep.
I'm going to say this. She's a fantastic player, Kaminsky.
Yeah.
My worry for them when they see Albertus is the lack of a confident secondary ball handler.
Yeah. And it's time to develop, right?
Yeah, you got
that
time.
and find somebody, but it's Coach Pat Mealy. That's what he does.
Pat Mealy does a great job.
Yeah, totally. So, and things are on the move. So then Rye goes and sneaks by Mayapack. So, my fear, for our sake, is that the teams are separating. So, like Albertus in AAA, Rye in AA girls, TZNA, YMA, they're separating from the pack, and it's like, well, we're gonna have any competitive games at the county set in the championship, but it's like Rye is gonna get challenged. I mean, it's hard, man. It's hard to do what these teams are doing. So I want to watch Yorktown this week, where nobody is separated in Class AA boys, and we'll talk about the Huskers. But overall, I was impressed. I think they're five senior starters. They all kind of fit well together. So Connor Marhart live and Colin Warden, and they go on the road and. Another game, they went on a big run third quarter and opened the 14-0 run third quarter, almost lasted the entire period. And they just look like a team that knows how to win. So they're it's gonna be interesting in Class W. So boys is like you could pick anybody in any class at this point, in all the top classes, and feel like like 4 or 5 teams have a chance to win at the AAA, AA, and A. But in the girls, it seems like they're separating. So it's going to be an interesting final month to see how teams are, health-wise and how they're playing. But so the headline this week is like, we're learning, right? We're learning. We're going.
We are.
And you learn so much more when you go to games, right? I mean, you realize, so you appreciate things.
Yeah, I really did, Kevin.
Yeah.
John and I, we got a chance to really see people live, not in their own gym, in a high school gym.
Yeah.
So I think the venue allows you to see them differently than we saw them in the county center. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Totally. And I think second half of the season is also second half of the game, because a lot of these games are tight in the first half, and whoever comes out in the third quarter firing ready for the roll, they're typically the ones when there's a blowout, it's typically starting in the second half. I've seen in these games. But I think there's a lot of basketball to play until we get there. So
No, totally.
Ketchum, to speak to John's point, Ketchum 17, Mamaroneck 14 at the half.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they go on. Yeah,
And then they
So
went
they go on the run,
They
17 in a run. Yeah.
So so that's it. Those are headlines. Headlines are going to be go to games. That's it, right? Keep going to games. Learn about these teams and the exciting final month here.
I think that's important. I want everyone to know that we are trying to attend as many games as possible. I know at the end of the show we talk about sending us information. Our email address, which will be down in this channel, show@thewinningmoments.com. You can send us clips. You're sending clips today on Instagram. We love that. We got a lot of reach out from students as well as coaches, so I like the interaction. It does make our job easier when you send us information as opposed to Kevin and everybody else scouring Twitter, now called X and whatever else.
Most of my research now is just directly to the coaches because they're so responsive. With the winning moments is kind of picking up momentum here, so it's nice.
We've had a lot of people reach out to us just out of the blue, talking about, I watch the show, and it's been very positive, so it's awesome.
And we're only in the first half of our season, so only
Yes, we
episode
are.
7 this time, so it's good. So listen, let's move to a episode that we have and love called the Hot Take. This week's Hot Take is around all that's going on right now when it comes to former pro players in the G League moving down to college. Now that college is basically a professional league because you get paid more by playing college ball.
Moving down to college, yes, that's the key.
Right.
Yeah.
Moving down to college.
Yeah, that's really what it is. I mean, it's level,
Although the college money is better than the pro money, which is also fascinating because I just watched the Westchester Knicks play the Sacramento, whatever they call themselves, at the county center. Which is a great basketball game. If you don't want to get to the city, watching those guys play, it's good, fun to watch. It's interactive. The county center is set up perfectly for it. But the idea that these men are then going to go down and play with boys. First, Kevin, we talked about it before about the portal, how it affects these high school kids. But all these high school kids are balling out. They have to compete with the portal. They have to now compete with pro players coming down and playing in college, especially like even in mid-season. It's crazy to me. How do you feel about that?
I feel like high school kids are at a major disadvantage from just a physical maturity level. We're basketball fans, right? Obviously, your son plays, my daughter plays, Chris's son still plays. All my kids play. So we want our kids to, have a chance to go and see what they can achieve in life. But the game has never been, the sport has never been as good talent-wise. More people are playing it around the world than ever before. So it's just becoming more competitive. So it's hard for high school kids right now to kind of find that niche. That's why when you look at a guy like Josiah Jervis, let's take two things out of Westchester. Josiah Jervis, go to Michigan State. He's getting good money to go there, NIL money to go there. He's ready. We get to watch him in Westchester. If you go watch Stepanek play, you get a treat. Obviously, the Ratliffs, the brothers, same deal. They're going to USC. So what they're doing is it's remarkable. Like it's way different than a kid going to Division I 10 years ago. So the accomplishment there. Then you have a guy like Anthony Figueroa who dreams one day of maybe going to a Division I school, but he's just not physically ready yet. And he's not mentally ready yet for the game. He's going to go to St. Thomas Aquinas. So the route everyone takes is just going to be a little different. And Chris knows this. Chris has seen this. Like you just talked about your son before the show about how different physically he is now. You wish he was as big as he was now as he was in high school, but
Sure.
But do you think? Hold on, Anthony Figueroa, right? Do you think that he's not physically ready? Because listen, when you talk about the programs, there's a big difference. Like Stepanek is a national program.
Yeah.
Right. They have great recruiting that comes to it. They have almost 15,000 Instagram followers just for the team itself. They have a whole media team that does the work for them. We talked about social media, how important it is. I think for these high school kids, you have to leverage social media now to build your brand in high school to even get noticed anywhere. I would never have said that 5 years ago, but now I want the kids to build out their Instagram profiles, their TikTok profiles. That's the new recruiting for that matter. But do you think if Anthony Figueroa played on Stepanek,
we're going to trade them? We're going to switch the teams?
Trade them.
Yeah. You know what I think?
I mean, I think you said.
I know what happened.
I think if you just only traded their high school teams, and you put Josiah Jervis at Dobbs Ferry and Anthony Figueroa at Stepanek, I think Josiah Jervis goes to Michigan State.
Agreed.
And Anthony Figueroa goes to St. Thomas Aquinas. I don't think where you play high school basketball really matters. And I keep hearing people say to me, they're like, well, if we're going to get college looks, we have to transfer to the school. I don't think that's at all necessary.
All right, but Coach, you have spent tremendous amount of time on the circuit. I give you a ton of credit. In your Chris Ward basketball program, when you were on the road and we'd go to Spooky Nook, you would actually call coaches, have the coaches come down and sit at your game so you can get your players' looks in that case. Well, Kevin just says doesn't matter if you're qualified.
Where you go to high school
enough.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Right. But I'm saying, so like in that case, there's always coaches at Stepanek. You have that way. They already have a look that way. Do you agree with Kevin in the fact that where you go to high school doesn't matter?
I don't think it matters because I think it's how you get developed.
Yeah.
I think it's how you get developed. I think how you physically get developed, how you get developed in skill set. I think that those are the most important things. The physical development will happen for you when it happens. Like we talked about before we got on air. Yeah. I looked at my son. He looked like a kid.
Yeah, child, yeah.
A child playing 17 and under. And now I look at him and he's now playing, overseas and he's a man. I mean, he's just an absolute man. But there are kids that are built like that now.
Yeah.
That are in high school.
Josiah Jervis.
Like Josiah Jervis. Yeah. He's a grown man.
Shoulders popped. Anthony Figueroa still kind of has a little bit of like a teenager's physique. And it's going to change.
It's going to change in 2 years for Anthony. Totally. But for Jervis, he's a grown man.
Yeah, he's ready to go.
Players go to Stepanek and schools like that, IMG, just as much for the experience and the competition they're going to get to play at the high school level than anything. Like obviously, Stepanek does an amazing job in terms of preparing their players in all facets, so beyond just basketball.
Yeah, he does a great job.
So it's. So I don't want to diminish like, he would have done this anywhere. So Stepanek obviously has a lot to do with it, but it's all part of the formula, right? So it's Josiah is just a different level. Also, like his shot is incredible. Have you seen him? You've seen his basketball? Like there's not a flaw anywhere in his jump shot. It is when he misses, it's like I question something's wrong with the rim. So like
he can shoot.
He can shoot it.
I agree that no matter where he goes, he's a D1 player. He could play anywhere. He's a D1 player.
But back to your point, like the whole thing about like this what's going on in the game of basketball at the college level. It's just. I think the thing is if we're going to sit here and try and analyze this or try and fix this, like it's so much of a work in progress right now because nobody really knows. Nobody knows how to navigate. When I hear like these college coaches who are upset that that certain players were able to go from the G League and go back to college and enroll and play midseason. These guys, Danny Hurley was furious about this. I want to say, Danny Hurley, how the heck did you not know you could do that? Like, some of this has got to fall on you too. You know, like, where's your responsibility to not know the rules? You know the rules of what you're doing.
You should know the rules of the game.
Yeah.
Right, 100%. Mid-season is
He
crazy.
didn't do it because it wasn't morally okay to do it, you know? Like, I mean...
So here's my take from it because of the fact that we all know that I'm a fan of European basketball.
Yes.
My take is this. If you're an American player that decided not to go to school, not to go to college, and you went ahead and started your professional career, that's it.
Yeah.
And the argument is, oh, well, the kids in Europe are signing at 16 and 17 years of age. Here's the difference. There is no college option.
Yes, it's totally different.
It's
Totally different system.
So like if our kids go to school like in White Plains, I'm just going to say White Plains. You don't play for your high school in White Plains. You play for the club team that's in your town.
Yeah.
So Barcelona kids play for Barcelona.
Tri-County.
Yeah, you play Tri-County.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my thing. So if a kid comes over from Europe who's older to play college basketball, that's fine. But a kid who's an American player who had the chance to go play college and decides not to and go to the G League and says, oh, whoops, I made a mistake. No.
John, this is what you say. So your son is a senior.
Yeah.
Sebastian's a senior in high school, your oldest son. And he probably sits around the cafeteria and says, well, what would you do if you were this player and you had a chance to go to the G League, go to play at Duke, go play professionally, go play overseas, like you were weighing all these options. Like, this is what high school kids think about. Like, the ones who actually have these options and the ones who sit in the cafeteria and think about these options. It's a fascinating discussion. But really what I would say is, just like every other decision you make, like, there's a lot of pressure on coaches and parents and advisors to advise these athletes because there's no one answer.
But I think of it this way, like if you look at high school basketball, right, the varsity coach is in charge of the program. Below varsity, you have JV. If you're a decent enough kid, you have modified. But it all goes around the varsity coach running the program. He's basically inside of the program. Yeah. It's a trickle-down effect. The NBA is the highest level of basketball that we have, right? Yeah. And they've done a tremendous amount of things to bring this game globally and keep expanding. And there's definitely things that are biting them in the ass, like gambling. Okay, that's hurting them, and it's a different topic, different story. Yep. But right now, the NBA had the G League. They got rid of G League Ignite, which was the one that you can make $650,000 for, like high school players, right? Yeah. To go in there in high school, right? You come out of high school, you go there, you play. That was their upper level. They dropped that because they didn't want to pay the money, and because colleges opened up NIL, so they're making the college pay the money. So now you're letting an amateur group, colleges, because not all of them are Michigan State and have this set up. You're letting an amateur group run the semi-professional league now, okay? Because the G League is a joke. You go there to make $40,000. You can make $40,000, okay, working at McDonald's and playing college ball, make six figures.
It's funny when people call college amateur, though. It's just funny hearing you say that because there's nothing amateur about it.
No, not anymore.
No, but to that
you're a swimmer. Yeah.
Right. But to that point, but some of the schools are not running it. Some of the schools can't run the business the same. There's no commissioner, but we have the NCAA. They don't act like the commissioner to say, there's a salary cap. You guys can offer this. There's rules.
Agreed.
It's the wild, wild west. So I feel these high school kids have no chance.
The problem with college is that they're building the boat in the middle of the ocean right now. So it's
while bringing people on the boat, while dropping people on the boat,
and people are falling off.
Right,
like it's rough. We can keep going with this, but exactly.
No. Yes.
So, just to give an example, and we'll put this chart up. The G League standard is $45,000 a year. Okay, I don't even think that's livable in New York. Definitely not for those Westchester Knicks guys. Two-way players, which is extremely rare, make $636,000. The starting college NIL starts at $250,000 a year. A star makes a minimum $750,000 a year. Yep. Okay, and compared to the overseas pro in the EuroLeague, they start at $900,000. I mean, I think about like if I was a decent high school basketball player as a freshman, I would ask my dad for, hey, help me get a Chris Ward to help me build my game. Then get me a Kevin Devaney to make sure all my videos are solid in there. And then get me a social media expert so I can get to let's say 100,000 followers, because 100,000 followers, as long as I can make D2, I'll go to a D2 or D1 school, never get off the bench, and make $500,000 a year while living the best college career, all because of you two guys and some social media. It's insanity.
Yeah, no, it's different. It's just there's really no again, like we just made the comment, like there's no right answer right now, because you can't just follow what somebody else does, because everyone's different. I do see a lot of former Worcester basketball players who are playing overseas and having nice, amazing careers, like Tony Taylor, Jabari Hines from Mount Vernon. They made the right move to go over there and give themselves a life. They gave themselves a life of, they can play professional basketball until they're in their mid-30s, maybe late 30s, and be able to just retire and come back home and live a different type of life, you know?
Yeah, that's why my guy is over. You know, my guy's going over there. At some point, that's what the goal is. The goal is that you work your way up like those guys did. Obviously, it's a different situation. Jabari and Tony, you know, were college players first, so they had a resume. They're doing very well for themselves, and they're making a great living. Yeah. They're making a great living.
Kevin Jones, Elijah
Kevin
Hughes,
Jones,
Eric Paschal,
man, of course.
There's so many of them.
So many of them.
Listen, I thought Junior was doing it because they got better food over there in Europe.
He says that.
Before we end this segment, so Kevin, what advice would you give to high school kids and coaches right now, knowing that, they're building the boat, there's no answer? What advice can you give them to at least manage?
Same advice I would have given them 20 years ago. Surround yourself with people that care about you and will guide you. And honestly, there's no one answer. There's no, don't Google this. What should I do? Because every player is different. Every situation is different. Every goal that a player has is different. There's probably some kids who might look at like professional lacrosse. Like, kids go to, maybe a kid from Rye goes to Princeton and can play professional lacrosse. And it sounds like, I'm a professional lacrosse player. But yeah, you could also just go work in the city and make 5 times as much money for the rest of your life. Sure. So like balance it out and get the guidance and surround yourself with people that know. I mean, I had someone on my Game Day 1 show, Stepanek, Inside Stepanek Basketball podcast this week. Munch Williams, obviously. Terrence. Munch,
PSA.
Yeah, PSA Cardinals. And he's someone who, one of the things he talked about was about how every kid's different. Every situation is different. Every family dynamic, every goal is different. And Munch's job really he found was to sit with the kid and find out like what they're good at, how they can excel, what their life goals are and stuff, and try and help them that way beyond basketball. So I think that's the key. My only advice is find someone who can give you the right advice.
Coach?
I agree with Kevin, John. You have to be honest with the parents. You have to be honest with the players. And you want to put them in the best position possible. I think it's very difficult right now for high school players. And I saw a stat where 27% of parents that have kids that are student athletes in high school think that their kid's going to be a scholarship athlete. 27%. I was astounded by that. A lot
of delusional parents.
Particularly when there's only 6 kids out of 100 that get a chance to put on a college basketball uniform at 5 levels.
One ball.
Yeah.
And so it's for any child to get out of high school and play collegiately in the game of basketball at any level is an astounding, significant achievement in their life, particularly in today's with today's state of the game.
I've always said this about football, and I'll say it about basketball now too. In college, so you know where they have a good college team? Everywhere.
Yeah.
There's go watch Stack. Watch Pace, and you'll be like, wow, these guys are players.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think, listen, the one thing you can do as parents, I agree with both of my hosts here. Don't take advice from people that you don't trust. Surround yourself with good people. But I do believe that you should have a strong social media plan. Kids are going to be on social media. They're going to put their stuff there. Educate the kids. You don't know as a freshman if your son is going to be a great player. Very rarely do you know that case. So just I think now more than ever, social media is changed, and it's important if you want your kid to play college.
Kendall Codesberg came on the show and talked about how she recruited herself to Colgate, right? I mean, that was something that, and Anthony Figueroa did the same thing. He mentioned on the show that I interviewed him this week about how, they started recruiting me after I emailed them. So like he emailed them, he had his presence, he had videos out there. So like it's the only way. You have to recruit yourself.
Right. You absolutely do. And listen, we'll talk about it a little later on when we talk about the segment, but Sports Engine or Huddle, the 2 ones in Westchester, they have all the videos that they're watching, right? I got to play with Sports Engine, by the way. You can easily clip your kids' videos to make it very simple to use, to build highlights. If you're a parent and you're afraid of technology, sign up for this. It's super simple. You do it all the time for the show, Kevin, and I think it's
I didn't do it this week yet. I got some work to do.
And full disclosure, I know how to get use Sports Engine without any guidance or assistance. So if I can get to it and see film and video and games, replays of games, then anybody can do it.
I agree. All right, gents. Let's speaking about players. Why don't we move on to our boys' player of the week.
So players of the week. This is a guy who's been on Sports Engine quite a bit, and I've been kind of waiting for this guy to kind of pop a little bit. It was going to be a tough transition from football into basketball. Carson Miller. So state player of the year in football, Section 1 record holder in yards, passing touchdowns in a season. Just incredible what he's done. And then we expected him to just finish playing football on Saturday and roll into practice on Monday. He went to a scrimmage that week. But he's back. I mean, and he played well the entire season, but he's really playing well on the defensive end of the floor. So right now, Rise won 5 games in a row after a tough start. They're in AA, and what we said, it was a wide open class AA, and he gives them something that most teams don't have, which is erase the opposing team's best player defender. And we saw what he did. He did it against New Rochelle. He did it against Harrison. He had 22 points on Monday against Roosevelt. He was terrific against Byram Hills. Kevin Kendall just kind of made things. Kevin Kendall had to work every single possession because how good Carson Miller was defensively. So he is just a complete game changer on both ends of the floor. But defensively, there's no one better.
Coach, how does that conditioning-wise? Talked about it on the last show. Defense sucks up all of your energy. It's rare that you have a dog on defense who can also drop 22 points. Like what?
You know what's also rare? When you have a guy who's a lockdown cornerback on defense and then goes to play quarterback on the other side of the ball, which Carson Miller did.
I don't know if that's as rare as this one. Okay, being locked down.
That's pretty rare, though, John.
That is rare, but
that's pretty rare.
I think when you play two ways in football, okay, yes, you do get a little breather because there is some punt or something like that. But in basketball, you have no breather. Yeah. That speed of going from offense to defense is no breather, right? So it's much harder conditioning wise, in my opinion, to be a dog on defense and a dominant player on offense in basketball. No offense to the football players, than it is in football.
I agree. I think to be a two-way player in high school, particularly with the fact that he has to score the ball for them to be very, to be efficient offensively and be successful, it's amazing. By the way, I knew we talked about this off air, Kevin, John. Mm-hmm. The kids from Rye played football. And then 3 days later, they were at a scrimmage. So there's no surprise. I want people to understand out there, there's no surprise about what Rye's doing now. Rye just need to get their basketball legs, as we call it. Yeah. And once they got their basketball legs, I mean, they're as good as anybody in AA.
Started 1-2, lost to Byram Hills in their first game. Came back and obviously beat them at home the second time. Their first game was a neutral site. They beat Ardsley, and then they lost to Horace Greeley on the road. And, I think they're just a different team now. They've won 5 in a row, and they've got Suffern Friday night tonight. So another big matchup at the Cube.
Oh, there we go. John Lim and I were at the Cube the other night.
Next guy up, this guy we all know, Tyler Terstein from Blind Brook. So obviously first. Was it the first game of the season when he hurt his head?
Yes, it was.
First
season
game
opener.
Yeah. He goes down, hits his head, and he goes out. And obviously, just kind of disrupted a Blind Brook team that goes to the championship game last year. Obviously, John knows all about this. Goes to the championship game last year, comes back, doesn't have quite the depth that they had last year. Some young players coming up, and then you took Tyler Terstein out of the mix for the first week of the season, 2 weeks of the season. Made things very difficult. He's made up for lost time. 27 points, 19 rebounds, 4 assists in a win over Briarcliff, who was the team they lost to without him. He's averaged 19 and 13 games this season, per game this season. And, I think him being on the court makes things better, a lot easier for another guy on the team, Sebastian Lim, who's John's son.
Absolutely.
It opens things up for him. It just makes them a top 3 team in a conference that basically right now might only have 3 teams that could legitimately win the championship. So with him on the court out there, Tyler Terstein has been terrific, and we just see just what a monster he is. They are 6-7-1 with him in the lineup. Only loss obviously being the Woodlands.
Yeah, which is obviously the team to beat in that.
Yeah.
I mean,
No point beating them now. Might as well beat them when it matters.
Right.
I tell the same thing to everybody.
No doubt
Don't beat
about
Mount Vernon in
that.
the regular season if you're not
Yeah.
going to beat them at the county center.
Absolutely.
So,
no, Tyler does a great job of opening the floor. I love the chemistry he has with Sebastian. It also opens up for Ryan, one of the younger players. I mean, I guess Briarcliff, he had 4 or 5 threes from NBA range. Like he doesn't even shoot threes from the high school 3-point line. But Tyler's court vision is one thing that I love because he doesn't get lost in just his downhill. Last year, he was just a downhill guy, right? You just go downhill, score that way. His passing is phenomenal. It opens
Much
up a lot
improved.
for these guys.
Much improved.
Him and Sebastian play together as if they were playing together since freshman year, and they haven't. So the chemistry's coming together. I think they are top 3, definitely. Top 2, maybe.
Yeah.
And I think they do have a chance to beat Woodlands in the county center
neutral
because it's
floor.
wider.
Yeah.
It all comes down to who's more natural that day and under less pressure.
Anything can happen at the county center.
Oh, coach.
Unfortunately.
I know.
So-
Let's move on. Let's move on for your sake. And then poor Carson and Tyler. They're going up this week in the Player of the Week against Josiah Jervis from Stepinac. Michigan State command. Last 3 games: 23, 10, and 5 against Nazareth. 25, 6, and 4 against Laughlin, 32, 10, and 5 against Holy Cross. Those are obviously points, rebounds, and assists. Averaging 19 points, 19.4 points, 6 rebounds, and 4.5 assists per game. So he is elite player. And so think of these last 3 games. The reason why it's important is the last 3 games because it's been the games where they've been without 3 starters. So they lost Adonis Ratliff on a minutes limit. Josh Rivera is their 6th man who's not playing. They lost Hassan Caresi to an ankle injury, and they lost Dylan Perry to an ankle injury. So they're both coming back. They are hoping to be back. I think the doc's appointment was either maybe today. And they are for their IMG game on Saturday at Hoop Ball. But you got to see, what Josiah Jervis would look like if he wasn't surrounded with 4 other Division I players. And man, was he amazing. So he was worth the price of admission for all those fans who show up to those games at Stepinac.
I love his game.
Oh, yeah.
I love watching him play. Saw him live, obviously seen him on TV, and I think he's going to fit in to that culture that Coach Izzo has.
Yes.
He's a perfect fit for Michigan State.
Totally. So those are the 3 guys.
I mean, listen, we talk about basketball players, and then we talk about ballers.
Yeah.
This kid, who we talked about, is basically like a grown man. This kid is a baller.
He's a baller.
Right. He comes
There's
out.
no doubt about
All right, so now time to vote. Coach, we're going to go with you first this week. Which one do you
Well,
vote
I've
for?
known this family for a long time. They've been involved in our program. The brothers have been involved in our program, his older brothers. And I'm going to go with Tyler Terstein from Blind Brook High School as my player of the week.
I'm going Carson Miller. Give me the defensive guy, the guy who I feel is going to kind of, Tyler has the same effect. Him being on the court, it just makes everybody better. It kind of settles things. Carson Miller back in basketball shape. It makes this whole Rye team better. This Rye team, I think, when you look at all the teams in AA, they might have the most talent, longest rotation of players that can play. So they don't have to rely on one guy. Henry Shoemaker, obviously terrific as well, and they have other players who stepped up. But I'll take Carson Miller for what he's done his last 5 games.
And isn't Carson going to college for lacrosse?
He's going to play Harvard lacrosse. Yeah.
Right. So the 2 of these players of the week.
Third sport.
Two of these players of the week are in their 3rd sport, and they're both going to college
And
for
Chris
lacrosse.
is throwing a football over your shoulder.
I would be very intrigued to see him at Harvard football camp compete at the quarterback spot after what I saw on film.
Yep. Totally.
Your favorite player of the year, Coach.
Absolutely.
All right, now moving on to the girls.
Yep. All right. Players of the week for girls. We'll start with Kiki Daly from North Rock, and obviously a huge week for her. Scores 1,000 points. She commits to play at SUNY Oneonta. She had 21 of her 29 points in the second half in a win over White Plains. On Wednesday, January 10th, she had 15 points in a win over Mamaroneck. North Rockland's had a little bit some ups and downs, but they're up now. They're playing great, and a big reason is just talking to Coach Kevin Metcalf is about the growth mentally of Kiki Daly, and that she has just kind of turned the corner as a player, as a leader, as somebody who doesn't get up, doesn't get down in games, and kind of has this even keel approach. And Coach Metcalf was saying that she wants to be a teacher one day, and she's understanding her personality and how she responds in games is going to radiate for the rest of the team. And she's really, as he said, she's really turned a corner in terms of just her basketball presence on the court. And just we're seeing it now as North Rockland's kind of a team that's also turned a corner.
For Kiki Daly and North Rockland to beat a really good Coach Iser coach team at Mamaroneck that's a statement win. And obviously, if this young lady has changed her mentality and it's affected and impacted their culture in a positive way, then they're going to do. They have a chance to make a good postseason run.
Yeah, kids mature, and we're seeing it.
Listen, she's gonna need that if she wants to be a teacher. Okay?
Totally.
So you better believe that.
Especially in 2029.
You guys are well aware of how that works. I don't have to educate you
yes,
about
we
that.
do.
Totally.
Yes, we do.
All right. Next player is Kylie Murphy. Player, doesn't really get talked about much. Carmel is in the developmental league. Their program is, John Sullivan, their head coach, does an awesome job. But he's got someone special in Kylie Murphy. She's closing in on 1,000 career points despite every single game she plays. I mean, she basically gets double teamed. She had 34 points, including the game-winning free throws in a win, 82-80 over Poughkeepsie. That's not developmental league scoring right there.
Yeah, that was
Mahogany Felix of Poughkeepsie and her went back and forth. It was awesome.
Defense was optional.
Yes, 82-80. It's a lot of points. She had 5 threes, and she was, Coach, 9 for 9 from the foul line, including those 2 late to win.
I love that.
You do love that.
I love that.
And she's also a great defensive player, and she's just a hard worker, and she's been great. And she doesn't really get talked about because of Carmel just not really in the mix for championships at County Center and stuff.
But listen, the young lady wants to play. She's obviously a good player. She's obviously an offensive threat, and happy for her that she's getting an opportunity to compete, and happy for her that she's got a chance to possibly hit 1,000 career points.
Yeah, she should do it. Might do it against Blindbrook when she goes against Kendall Konigsberg, which would be kind of a cool matchup.
Wow,
To see those two
that'd be interesting.
Yep. Our third player is Chloe Angelo from Tuckahoe. Tuckahoe's, listen, I mean, Coach, we know Coach Silvio De Salvatore. He's, Tuckahoe's in Class C. They're not going to get, you don't think they're going to get totally challenged in Class C. They want to play as good a schedule as possible. And sometimes it's to the detriment of their record. I give them credit. They beat Ursuline a few weeks ago at Alberta's
We
Magnus.
didn't get a chance to talk about that.
No,
Great win for them.
That's a huge win. That's an amazing win. And listen, they got beat up by YMA before that. And Chloe Angelo has been just sensational since. She had 20 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds, 5 steals, and 4 blocks in limited time against Woodlands this past week. 17 points, 4 blocks in a win over Eastchester. It's always good to beat the crosstown rival, my alma mater. 18 points, 9 rebounds in a win over Putt Valley last week. People say I root against Eastchester, and it's only like partially true. Nah, it's not true. I say that because I know people think that, but it's not true.
That's ridiculous.
I don't root against anybody. I don't root against anybody. So, should I get myself in trouble? 18 points, 9 rebounds against Putnam Valley last week, and she's exceptional. She's on a great team, and this is a team that obviously has long-term goals, and you don't want them to get too lost in the ups and downs of the regular season against their tough schedule. So
she's done really good stuff against very good competition. She's deceptively long. I don't think people realize, unless you know Chloe, how skilled she is, John. Kevin, she's extremely skilled.
A 5'10" point guard.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what she is. And she's going to be a college player.
Totally.
And what level remains to be seen, but she's she's on her way to play college basketball. I've known her a long time. I've known, since she was younger, and I'm happy for her that she's having the success she's having. And as she goes, that's how Tuckahoe goes.
Yeah, they have great supporting cast. Obviously, Cara Doherty, Julia Manginelli, Brooke Matazzaro. So they have a great group.
All those girls we had at camp when they were very young.
Yeah, totally.
All right, we're gonna kick it over to Kevin. Who's your vote?
You're gonna kick it over to me, so I'm gonna kick it to Kiki to be my player of the week because Kiki Daly, as I said, I love a good story, and just kind of the game clicked for her, and just being a leader clicked for her, and we're seeing the success that they should have.
The man loves a good story, and he loves Rockland County.
Yes,
Coach.
I like Rockland County too. See, now you're going to put me in a position where people don't think I like. I was over in Rockland County. I love
Once.
once.
I saw 2 games.
I know.
One easy pass.
No. What is easy pass? The little plastic thingy. Okay, we know. Coach, you were over there.
I like Rockland.
It's recorded that you were driving over that bridge with the plastic thing, and you got over that.
Plastic thing right there and put it up there on the thing.
Thank God for Mrs. Ward.
Yeah, absolutely. Chloe Angelo. I've known her since she was young. Tuckahoe, Coach Silvio DeSalvatore, who we refer to each other as father and son. So I have to pull for my son's player, and they do a great job. And I'm going to make Chloe Angelo from Tuckahoe my player of the week.
Tell your son to cut that hair.
I know. We're working.
I'm kidding.
on it.
It's awesome.
No, he's the best.
Guy with losing
he's
hair.
the best. He's got such fashion sense.
Yes.
Listen, so that's the vote. However, your vote is the one that counts. It'll be on Instagram, all the players of the week. So make sure you vote, share. Sharing is caring. Let's get these kids exposure. And let's now move on to the team of the week. Kevin, let's talk about the boys.
Clarkstown North watched the whole game this past week on Sports Engine. They're on a absolute tear. They've won 7 games in a row now. They just beat Clarkstown South in a wild comeback win. Rotimi Ciso had a monster game, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 5 steals in that game, and obviously hit a big three-pointer to force overtime, which they won. And then they followed it up by beating Suffern, handing Suffern their first loss of the season. And Kyle Kirkland, 29 points, 10 rebounds in that game. Jack Kavanaugh, Captain Jack, they call him. He's a quarterback of the football team, plays a little basketball, pretty good. He's actually, I think he's a far better basketball player than I think anyone realizes. He's probably going to play college quarterback. He had 21 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, and was just so physically imposing in that game over Suffern. And there was a couple times just defensively, another quarterback who plays great defense. I love what I've seen out of Jack Kavanaugh. Again, they're 8-2 in the season. They lost to Pearl River. I watched that game. I don't know if the referees brought whistles to the gym that day. It was very strange what they let these two teams get away with that day. It's not the style that Clarkstown North has customarily plays. Pearl River does. So they lost to them, and then they lost to Suffern by 3. They came back and beat them this past week. So Clarkstown North is my first team of the week. Coach, you've seen North.
I've seen North. They didn't play really well when I saw them initially. Obviously,
that was a low score, like 37.
That was a 37-34 game.
Yeah.
And we talked about the lack of ability to make open catch and shoot shots.
Yes.
Obviously, I didn't know Jack Kavanaugh was a legitimate football player like that. So I think because it was earlier in the year, in defense to the kids from Clarkstown North, John, the multi-sport guys getting their feet underneath them, obviously Jack Kavanaugh has a real presence.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing them play again now that they've got their basketball legs.
But watch out for Kyle Kirkland because he's that scoring threat. So we talked about like Rye, for example.
Right.
Rye could be the team that North faces down the road. Who you put in Carson Miller on because Kyle Kirkland is legit scorer. I mean, he was so good in the second half of that game against Suffern.
Captain Jack, I like that.
Captain Jack.
I like that nickname.
I like that too.
I like
Great
that.
kid.
I like
Awesome
that
kid.
nickname.
Yorktown is my next team. I saw them live this week. Saw them against Horace Greeley. And opening couple of minutes, you thought to yourself, all right, well, they were kind of maybe due for a little bit of a dud of a game here. Connor Morehart took the game over in the second quarter. Him and Jake Sheehy from Horace Greeley went back and forth in this game. But Morehart's ability to make contested shots, he obviously transferred from Iona Prep, where, technically you don't get open shots. Like, every shot's a contested shot. And so when he gets into this, and he has no fear putting the ball up, he's an emotional guy. And I think it plays so perfectly with Colin Worden, who's so even-keeled during games. They got some good big men. Franklin Ringel was terrific in this game. But Morehart averaging 16.6 points, 4 rebounds per game. Again, coming over. And, the thing about Connor Morehart, which, talking to some of the Yorktown coaches, is that you forget is like he hasn't played a lot of varsity basketball minutes. He's played a lot of basketball, but in terms of high school varsity basketball, he hasn't gotten to play a lot. And now he's out there every minute of the game. And so it's almost like every possession he's trying to make up for lost time. And I feel he's so talented that he can do it. He can go out there and he just keeps himself in check. He had a little bit of an emotional, he got very, very upset. Again, referees, There was a point of the game, second quarter, where it was just like, you kind of were doing one of these. He got pretty upset, and the coaches calmed him down, and he went out and he played great. They went on that 14-0 run in the third quarter. Colin Worden was a big part of that as well. He's averaging 11 and 11 rebounds and 6.5 assists per game. So Colin's been quietly just like filling the stat sheet every game. I love this team, Yorktown. They're one of 2 undefeated teams in Section 1 left, them and TZ, going into the weekend.
Seen them on film. Credit, like I said before earlier in one of our other podcasts, credit to Coach Pavella and Coach Nardone and their staff up there.
Hello, Coach Pavella.
With regard to how they fit this kid in. This kid can shoot it.
Yep.
And he shoots and he has no fear. and he believes every shot's going in. Such a nice young man, engaging off the floor as well. We met him at the slam dunk.
Yep.
And I'm happy for him. And it comes back to what we talked about early in the show. Going someplace where you have a chance to play and develop.
And it's great to go home and do that.
And go home and do that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Totally.
Listen, this kid has an edge, right? To your point of no fear. I love it. He is featured on the Winning Moments Instagram, not just because we talked about him, but because he sent us a video of him or the coach sent the video of him shooting this 3-point shot at the end, which I absolutely love. Like we love getting clips from teams and players and send it over, but the idea that you sent a video of a shot that you nailed, I absolutely love that edge.
Yeah.
It might sound
I
like
had a
not,
team.
but-
I had a team this week sending me. I forget who it was. It was Pelham. They hit a buzzer beater. I had no idea. Like sometimes I just miss things. Like it's hard. I got a family and kids and a mortgage. But we have just missed stuff. And they were like, "Oh, you missed our buzzer beater." And why do you hate us? I'm like, I didn't even know. Like so again, like it really share it to us. It's a huge.
we will drop folders, coaches. If you email us.
Yeah.
And we'll put this all in the show. Email us. We'll give you a folder. Drop it in there. We're doing the best we can. But yes, send us the clips. And Kevin does not hate anyone.
I didn't mean to bad
at
my
all.
wife, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just the kids and the mortgage that take up my time. So we got to our third team. I said this early in the season about like your team isn't necessarily who you think it is on, going into the first game of the season. And teams get better, teams develop, teams grow. And Scarsdale was a team that had a lot of room to grow because of, losing Jake Sussberg, Mr. Basketball last year in Section 1. He graduates. They got this new kid, Ryan Sussberg, who looks very similar. And he was growing into his own. And I kind of looked at Scarsdale. I was like, they're going to get one of these wins. They're going to get a win, right? They're going to get they're in a league with White Plains, Mount Vernon, New Rochelle. They're going to get a win here at some point. And they beat Horace Greeley on the road. I thought that was good. But when they beat Mount Vernon this past week at Mount Vernon, I said, this team's here. Like they've arrived, right? So they're, I'm not saying they're going to maybe win the section, but they're going to make someone very uncomfortable in the fourth quarter of a playoff game. And on the road somewhere. And we saw it. They were down 10 with 2:23 to go. At Mount Vernon, that is a loss. You are packing your bags at that point.
Over.
They forced overtime. Ryan Sussberg had 21 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Hunter Ross had a season-high 16 points, 8 rebounds in that game. Sussberg in the last 3 games, 17 points, 7 rebounds per game. He's grown. He's coming to his own. There's got to be a lot of pressure on him with his older brother being who he is. Joe Papalardo, defensive anchor. Benny Foster, Jason Ling, 18 points against Pelham. Andrew Roseman, Ethan Grossberg, been a great floor leader for them. They lost 3 games by a combined 7 points, but they are, it's all in the rear view now.
When you lose Mr. Basketball, who's at a Division I school.
We keep saying only one player. They all lost more than one player.
They lost Daniel Hoey,
Yeah, of course.
6'5" point guard as well, who was playing major minutes until he got injured up at St. Lawrence. When you lose 2 college level players at that level, and really both of them really outstanding players, you're going to have a transition period.
Yeah.
This group, I know all these kids. We've worked with all these kids either in player development or through the town program. They just needed to get their legs underneath them, John. They needed to just figure out some things, because when you're a first-time varsity primetime guy, that's a transition. That's a adjustment. And right now, Coach Emilio and those kids are starting to figure it out. And they're a talented group. They just have to stay humble, stay hungry, keep allowing themselves to get better in the gym every day, and they can be a real problem for a lot of teams in AAA.
No, totally. And we look at Mount Vernon. I mean, Mamaroneck is obviously, we're still going to say they're the favorite. North Rockland is right in the running with them, even despite what happened last week. They've lost in the regular season badly at Mamaroneck a few times. I don't know how they have to keep going to Mamaroneck, first of all. But they've lost there a few times in the regular season, and they've been a different team in the playoffs. So, but after that, it's kind of open. Doors open for a bunch of teams. New Rochelle, Mount Vernon, Scarsdale could be there. We say the Arlington team as well. So
I mean, listen, down by 10, 2 minutes, 23 seconds left to go in any game, not to mention on the road against
At Mount Vernon, correct.
That's that team is ready.
Yep.
All right, so let's kick it off, Coach. Who's your team of the week?
Well, I would get absolutely crushed if I don't go with Scarsdale High School.
Yeah. Did you write it? Yeah, he knew it.
Sussberg, Hunter Ross, Jason Ling, Ethan Grossberg, all those kids have been through. We've done work with. We've assisted in their development. Happy for Ryan. I think Ryan just needs to be Ryan Sussberg. Don't be your brother. Just be. If I can give him any advice, continue to be you. Be the best player you can be. Hunter Ross is huge. I mean, he's a really good player. Another kid who's kind of under the radar, and I'm really happy for Jason Ling as a senior to go up and get 18 against Pelham. So Scarsdale boys are my team of the week.
With a disclaimer to start the team of the week. Okay,
would you write down for me? Because you obviously know what I'm doing.
Well, I know. Okay. Listen, I'll put it here.
It's Clarkstown North.
Okay,
it's my team. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to Rockland County.
Here,
yeah, it's Clarkstown North.
We got right.
Listen, I saw your town live. They're undefeated. They're great. To me, North has kind of, again, I wanted them to beat like an elite level team. Suffern was my team in the preseason. They go and they beat Suffern at home. So they split with Suffern. I'm going to take Clarkstown North right now. I feel that Kyle Kirkland has helped elevate them to a level where goal ball is now realistic.
They're really good and they're really long.
Yeah. Yep.
I didn't realize how long they were until I saw them.
Rotimi Assiso has been great Section 1 basketball player for 3 years now. But he needed his guys. He can't do it alone. No one's ever done it alone.
Nobody.
So Kirkland is difference maker.
I got a feeling that we just need to start having dinners. Have some of our dinners over at Rockland to get Kevin some more Rockland. It must be the water over there.
I was at
Bailey's. You ever go to Bailey's? Bailey's
No.
It's a barbecue.
Have you been to Tavern 1840?
Sounds
in West
expensive.
Nyack? It's a really good spot. Down
You're buying.
Yeah, it's a historic
John's obviously
building.
buying.
The burgers were great. Everything was really good. Yeah, West Nyack.
Coaches, we take donations. We'll come meet you for dinner over there in Rockland. All you got to do is come with the school's credit card, and we're happy to.
There we go.
Yeah.
Excellent.
There we go.
All right, let's move right on to the girls. Kevin.
Rockland County we go with Tappan Z. Started
Over the bridge.
So TZ, they start the season 4-0. They beat Clarkstown South, and with this team that's, Kristen Phelan, Division I basketball player, graduates, and you think to yourself, well, how are they going to replace her? How are they going to find the pieces? We knew that they had a great young nucleus, but we're talking young. Like 8th graders, 7th graders, 8th grade. TZ is going to be good for a long time. Here they are in Class A, moving down. Then they go to Orlando. They get humbled. 3 losses. 2 of them were blowouts, and they're facing, not like marquee name schools from around the country. Coach?
Because I grew up in Somerville, South Carolina, as we all know. Yeah, I did. No. Yeah, I did.
Wait a minute, you're not from Westchester?
No, I'm not from Westchester. So I live here now, but
learn something new every day, Kevin.
In defense to our schools in our section,
yep.
The schools that our schools that are facing the schools from down south, those schools are like 6A, 7A. And what that means is those schools normally enrollment-wise are 3,000, 3,500, near 4,000 plus.
Yeah.
So that's what Tappan Z probably faced. Schools like that, what happened with Ossining girls down in Florida as well.
Yeah.
They're facing a different level.
They also faced teams that also play with no shot clock, and they played in Florida where there's no shot clock. So it just changes the game. Those teams seem to be... every time I've watched teams, especially in New Jersey, how crisp they are on offense because they have to be, because you could just hold the ball and so they run sets and they run things really well, and you're not scouting. So it's really hard to do what
Very
TZ did.
difficult.
Austin did the same deal. Rye went down there also and won. So it's, sometimes you have to have great talent. But TZ, so they lose those games. They come back, they're 3-0. They beat Pearl River, they beat Nanuet, and they beat a Bronxville team that was undefeated through the first month. Eve Girardi, all-time leading scorer in soccer in Rockland County history. She's a good basketball player. Also probably the best flag football player in Section 1. 15 points against Bronxville. Alyssa Sanchez, she's coming on strong. Adriana Diorio. She's a softball and volleyball standout, so another multi-sport standout in this team. And then Emma McHugh coming back from the ACL. 14 points against Bronxville, 16 points against Pearl River. She is getting better and better. You wonder what would have happened if TZ had her last year when she got hurt. But to me, the Diorio and Eve Girardi factor of the multi-sport thing and they are both so unselfish, it is a great mix that they have at TZ.
Coach Chevrier, both of us know personally, she will not tolerate selfishness.
Yeah.
She's going, she's put the standard of the program at where it was when she was in high school. She's put that standard from where she played at high school at Irvington with Coach Marr, and she's established a culture there in a short period of time. I don't bet against Coach Chevrier or the Tappan Zee
They got
girls.
things going for, if they stay in Class A, they're going to maybe win a lot of go balls.
Yes, they have a chance.
Westlake. So, all right, we talk about a good story. I love a good story. I love putting these teams in because when you look at Westlake and when you see that Brooke Pfeiffer, their star player, tears her ACL for the second year in a row, does it in the second game of the season. They start 0-2. They're 6-5 right now. Sean Mayer might be the coach of the year in Section 1 because of how
amazing job.
They've lost other players as well through the course of the season. Bella Pastillo, their starting point guard, she's been out a couple of games, but here they are. They won 3 games in a row before losing to Hen Hud last night. They had 3-game winning streak. Hen Hud's probably a County Center team in Class A. Since losing the Riot to County Center, losing away 1 to Croton, they have really bounced back. They had a buzzer beater win in the next game. Izzy Murray, who's been so good, she had 17 points in the game as they beat Somers at the buzzer. Then they beat Bronxville. They handed Bronxville their first loss of the season. 3 days after that in overtime, and then Bronxville hit a 3-pointer to force overtime. Then they beat John Jay Cross River on Wednesday. They went 18 of 21 at the foul line. Megan Nebel has been awesome, 17 points against Bronxville, 11 against John Jay in balanced scoring. And she's only a sophomore. And Megan Nebel is kind of learning how to be the focal point. She was supposed to be kind of like the second or third option on this team, in the offseason. And then now here she is, and she's got to be the leader. It's not an easy thing to do at that age.
And Bella Murray was supposed to be the third or fourth option.
Yeah.
And so we know those girls. We know some of these. Megan Nebel. We've worked with Izzy Murray. Bella Murray. We've worked with. And so for me, regarding those girls and Izzy Murray with the buzzer beater at half court.
Yeah.
By the way, poor Kevin Rogers, who I know played in our program. I feel bad for Coach Rogers, Somers, but it was a great shot. Those girls, their futures, Megan Nebel, the 2 Murrays, they're going to be really good. And Sean Mayer has not stopped coaching them.
No, even against Rye, they're getting killed.
He's putting the foot on the pedal, and he's continuing to coach them up.
And Cara Maloney has been a key, obviously the center of the team, and she's senior captain, and she has come along offensively. And again, listen, opportunity. With these unfortunate situations that Westlake's had, the opportunities come along, and these girls have seized the opportunity. Who also has is Pleasantville. So Pleasantville starts the season 0-3 with this great nucleus of another team with sophomores and freshmen all down the roster, 8th graders, and now they're 6-3. They've won 6 games in a row, and they've done it with defense. They've only allowed 40.8 points per game this season, but in the 6-game winning streak, that number has gone down to 36 points per game. It's really hard to get a basket and a good look at the basket against Pleasantville. The rebounding, Maddie Becerra, she's been so good, a sophomore, third-year varsity player. 11 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists this season. Lexi Tomaselli, 13 points, 4 rebounds. Julie Karaki, 8.5 points. She's had some big games for them as well. Emma Murray, only a freshman, 7 points, 6 rebounds per game. And Ashlyn Harrison also contributing. And Alex Bowen, spark off the bench. So for the freshmen. So really, if you want to compete in Class A with Tappan Zee, you're going to have to do it with volume in a lot of ways. You're going to have to do it with a lot of players. You're gonna get challenged. You're gonna get worn down. You're gonna play on this big floor against this TZ team that loves to run and pressure defensively. You can't do it with a thin roster. Pleasantville might have the roster to compete with Tappan Zee. If anyone's gonna do it, Pleasantville just might be the team that makes that run in the postseason.
Maddie Becerra and Lexi Tomaselli, they seem like they've been there forever.
Yeah, they have a long way to go.
They've been
lacrosse, soccer, everything.
They're on social media all the time in every sport.
Yeah.
Any sport that they play, they excel in. I've seen them on film. They really struggled offensively at the beginning of the year. I think testament to them being multi-sport players, getting their basketball legs underneath them, getting the ball back in their hands. And I think that their best basketball, I don't think they're playing their best basketball yet. I saw them play last year.
Yeah.
They were really good at
Against
the end.
Stucco.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were really good. And so for me, I just think that that team they're like 2 more weeks away from hitting their stride.
Yep, and they have a schedule where they can, they're going to play Disney Croton, they're going to play Croton again next week, and they could definitely build some momentum into the final stretch.
And listen, we're at the second half of basketball, so it's the runs. It's basketball's a game of runs. They have a nice run, then anything goes to the county center, like
Absolutely.
you said, Kevin. All right, Kevin, who is your choice this week for
Not
the
Tappan
team?
Zee. Not gonna be. I can't pick another Rockland team, right? Not allowed. I've hit my limit.
Nobody said that. You
know.
can pick a Rockland
I'm going
team.
to go Pleasantville because I do think that they're lurking. They kind of remind me of what they did a couple years ago where they just got hot at the end of the season. Last year, losing to Croton the way they did in the playoffs was a big upset. I'll take Pleasantville as my team of the week.
Coach?
So I've known the Murray family, Tom Murray, the father of Bella Murray for a long time.
Yeah.
Trey Murray, a great basketball lineage.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Between Tom Murray Jr., her father, and Tom Murray Sr., the legendary CHSAA coach,
Cardinal Hayes,
and
yeah.
Megan Nebel, and I know all those girls from camp. We've helped assist in their development. I'm going to go with my wife's alma mater,
Yep.
class of '89, Lisa Ward. I'm going with the Westlake Wildcats,
you just
our
said-
girls' team of the week.
How are you 29 years old? You graduated in 1989.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
seriously. I don't even know. You mean 2009, Coach?
Yeah,
2009.
Let's
right?
save Coach here.
I think it's
Edit this
2009.
part out.
2000.
Right?
Yeah. She looks like she graduated.
I've had the honor of meeting your wife.
Yep.
She was 2009.
It's 2009. Yep.
Actually, Kevin did. He stumped me. I thought he was going to go at Westlake as well. I had coach at Westlake for this particular segment.
Okay.
So yeah, good
Here we
job,
go.
Kevin. Before we go to the upcoming games, brought to you by Sports Engine, I do want to say at the Winning Moments, a major goal we have outside of giving kids exposure is to raise money for causes that help kids keep playing. The first one that we're doing is a fundraiser for Coaches for Cancer. You can go to thewinningmoments.com/donate. You'll see the page up there, read all about it. Everything counts. $5 donations, $10, whatever you guys can do to help raise money. We have a goal to hit by the 24th of January. So visit thewinningmoments.com/donate, and you can see that. We'll continue to put more donations that we partner with up there. We're happy to give the exposure. If you have someone or some cause you want to build a donation for, just let us know in the comments or at shows@thewinningmoments.com. And now to the KDJ games to watch this week, brought to you by Sports Engine. What do we got, Kevin?
All right, so this is Saturday. It's the biggest game we might be looking at. We very rarely get two defending champions. And you're going to get it on Saturday when Woodlands goes to Tappan Zee. This show's probably going to come out after. But listen, that is as good as it gets. And that is going to be the challenge that Woodlands needs, I think. They're going to face a relentless defensive team in Tappan Zee and on the big stage, 6 o'clock at Tappan Zee High School. You said it last week on the show about Orangeburg on
Orangeburg on a Saturday night, 6 o'clock.
And for a great cause, obviously, for former coach George Gain, his daughter. So that is the game. Tappan Zee's got 2 of these games. The next game is on the 20th, and they're going to go to Pearl River. So all that greatness that they get at betting at home, it all gets wiped out when they go to Pearl River, where, again, I don't referees
Pearl
are
River's
like,
gonna
whistle?
be-
I don't know if I brought
Yeah,
one of those.
it's
I brought one of those.
It's going to be
Not for the team in red.
The Rockland County
Yeah.
Rock fight,
No,
in
we'll
Pearl
see.
River.
Rockland County Rock fight.
Arlington's coming down on Saturday to play Mamaroneck in another good matchup. Mount Vernon goes to Mamaroneck on Wednesday. And then TZ goes to So TZ's in our 3 games here. Their next 3 games are home against Woodlands, defending section champion. They're going to go to Pearl River, a team that I picked to win the section championship this year. And then their next game is going to be going to two-time defending section champion, Byram Hills.
Marquee games. Coach Ward's going to be at the game Woodlands at Tappan Zee tomorrow night. He'll be there.
I might try and go to all 3 of these. Yeah, it is. That's as good as it gets. And Ryan McWilliams, young coach who's got his team undefeated. If they're undefeated after the 3 games, let's give them the award now.
We could possibly. They might. We
just
could.
might do it.
You can. What they say. The young kids say. You can chip them.
What?
Chip them like championship them. Chip me.
Oh, got it. Yeah,
Chip me.
got it.
We need a fact check for that. All you kids out there, let us know if that even exists. That definitely stumped Kevin and I.
But
But
this one
yeah.
doesn't mean anything else.
No, it just means.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I know.
I trust you. I trust you.
All right.
I trust
As we
you.
wind down the end of the show, okay, let's go to the girls. The game.
All right,
games
the
to
girls'
watch.
side,
Yes.
the Autism Classic is on Saturday. Another great cause. 4 games at Irvington High School. The marquee game is going to be Ursuline and Tappan Zee on the girls' side. Ketchum playing Pelham as well. Another good game. So those games are all on Sports Engine at Irvington High School. All the games, except for the games, the boys' game at Pearl River, going to be on Sports Engine. This game, John Jay's Fishkill against Arlington, is on Tuesday. Nyack, undefeated Nyack, goes to Clarkstown South. Maybe they're probably their biggest matchup they've had at Nyack girls basketball maybe in about 10 years. Honestly, that is a great game to go around the corner to face Clarkstown South. And then Tappan Zee going against YMA. Again, like, listen, I give you almost all the credit in the world. Tappan Zee's coming down from Class AA to Class A. They're the B champions, YMA. He wants to play the best schedule possible, and that team will also challenge them in ways that I don't know if anyone else in their schedule really will. So that's going to be a fun matchup at YMA.
For Clarkstown South against Nyack, Roach, Rodrigo, and Oliveri need to show up to support Vos.
Yeah.
If those three young ladies show up, then they'll have a shot at possibly edging Nyack. But they've got to show up. They got to support Carly.
We all agree. And that's our show. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Please like and subscribe. Also, send us as many clips as possible. Coaches, thank you for sending all the stats and reaching out to Kevin. We appreciate it. And that's a wrap.
One more thing. I forgot to add this. And it's not, he'll see it later. Want to wish Chris Ward Jr. a happy birthday today. I hope that all his dreams and hopes and everything that he's working towards come true. And his mother and I, we want to wish him a happy birthday. We love him and hope he enjoys his day.
It's emotional when you have kids, man. I have 3, you have 3, you have 2. When it's their birthdays, you realize you're like, Christmas is one thing, holidays are one thing, but like birthdays, like you see the excitement they have, and you realize like, man, I remember when they were this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you carry them this way, and now you're carrying them other ways. And yes, a big shout out to Chris Ward Jr. Happy birthday. We love seeing you come back from this injury, man. Working out on Instagram. Keep it up. You're a baller. We actually look forward to visiting you overseas when you start playing again.
Absolutely.
Coach, you hear it now. Lisa, you should know that Coach has sponsored Claudio, Kevin, and my plane tickets to go over and watch your son. We appreciate the Ward family for that. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Now that's finally a wrap.